Hello students, myself Bafna ma'am. We will be taking business regulatory framework. Today we will be continuing the video of stranger to a contract. Last video I had taken about the exceptions to the rule no consideration no contract. And today we will be dealing with the stranger to a contract. First is a stranger to a contract cannot sue, or a person who is not party to a contract cannot sue upon it. Now, it has been clearly told that a stranger to a contract cannot sue, but a person who is not a party to contract cannot sue upon it. We will say what is that. There is a well established principle of the law of contract that a stranger to a contract cannot sue. Only a person who is a party to contract can sue on it. So, a contract is a contract between the parties only, and no third person can sue upon it even if it is made for the benefit. This principle is known as privity of contract. So, what it is told, privity of contract. A person may be a stranger to the consideration, but he should not be a stranger to the contract. Under the Indian Contract Act, a person can take the benefit of consideration furnished by others. Hence, a contract between P and Q cannot be enforced by R. However, a stranger to the consideration can file a suit to enforce the contract, provided he is a party to the contract. Now, it has been told here that a stranger to the contract cannot sue, but it is already told that a stranger to a contract act, that a third person cannot sue, but if it is made for the benefit, that principle is known as privity of contract. See, a person may be a stranger to the consideration, but he should not be a stranger to the contract. ही मे बी ए स्ट्रेंजर, जो इंसान है वो कंसिडरेशन के लिए स्ट्रेंजर हो सकता है, बट ही शुड नॉट बी ए स्ट्रेंजर टू द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट अंडर इंडियन कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एक्ट. But a person can take a benefit of consideration. See, if there is a contract between P and Q, cannot be enforced by R. We know that when there is a two party, third party cannot be enforce a contract. However, a stranger to the consideration can file a suit to enforce the contract, provided he is a party to the contract. It has been clearly told a stranger to the consideration can file a suit. When there is a consideration to a stranger, he can file a suit for the enforcement of contract, provided he should be a party to the contract. Now, there is a famous case, Chinnaiya versus Ramayya. So, as per the example, as per contract between P, Q and R, it was agreed that P should pay money to Q for delivering goods to R. This contract can be enforced by R, although he did not pay any part of the consideration. So, last video there was a case चिन्नैया वर्सेस रामैया, दैट ओल्ड लेडी का मैंने एक केस सुनाया था, जो लास्ट वीडियो में आप सुन सकते हैं. बट certain exceptions are there to the rule that a stranger to the contract cannot sue, but certain exceptions are there. Stranger to the contract cannot sue, ये सबको मालूम है, लेकिन उसमें भी certain exceptions है. तो वो exceptions मध्य ये वो you have to keep that in your mind, that a stranger also can sue to the contract. What are those exceptions? We will see. First is trust. An agreement to create a trust can be enforced by the beneficiary. Here, a beneficiary is the person for whose benefit trust has been created. Now, if you are a beneficiary, for your purpose, if the trust has been created, then it can be enforced. This agreement can be enforced. For example, we will see the example here. See example, P agrees to transfer certain properties to Q to be held by trust for the benefit of R. Here R can enforce the agreement, though he was not a party to the agreement. See, P agrees to transfer certain properties to Q. जैसे मैंने अग्री किया ट्रांसफ़र करने के लिए कुछ प्रॉपर्टी आपको, that it should be held by the trust for the benefit of R. एक दूसरा पर्सन है R, उसके बेनिफिट के लिए एक ट्रस्ट बनाया गया है. बट हियर R कैन एनफोर्स द अग्रीमेंट. R एनफोर्स कर सकता है उस अग्रीमेंट को, दो ही इज नॉट ए पार्टी टू द अग्रीमेंट. वो पार्टी नहीं है अग्रीमेंट में, बट ही कैन एनफोर्स द अग्रीमेंट. नो, सेकेंड पॉइंट इज फैमिली सेटलमेंट. If the family dispute is settled and the same is reduced in the writing in some document, it is called a family settlement. The person for whose benefit the provisions are made under such a family settlement may enforce the contract. See example here, a provision of usually we can see this example in our daily life in our homes. A provision of the marriage expenses of a family member was made in a joint Hindu family partition deed. जैसे मैरिज का एक्सपेंसेस एक फैमिली मेंबर से जॉइंट फैमिली में रहता है कि भाई लड़कियों की शादी इस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में से जो हिस्सा बनता है लड़कियों की शादी इसमें से होगा. सच ए फीमेल मेंबर इज एंटाइटल्ड टू sue for the recovery of such expenses though she is not a party to the partition deed. It has been clearly told that a provision of marriage expenses of a family member, if it is made in a joint Hindu family partition deed, अगर partition deed में लड़कियों की शादी का प्रावधान लिखा है, then such female is entitled to sue for the recovery of such amount, such expenses, even if she is not a party to the partition deed. So third point is acknowledgement. If the promisor by his conduct acknowledges himself as an agent of third party, a binding obligation thereby ensues on him. See, we can see here the example. What is the example? When under an agreement between a tenant and a subtenant, the subtenant was paying the rent directly to the landlord. The landlord was allowed to recover the unpaid rent directly from the subtenant. So, here acknowledgement. If the promisor by his conduct acknowledges himself as an agent of a third party, a binding obligation thereby ensues on him. अगर acknowledgement यानी अगर एक टेनेंट रहता है तो उसने दूसरे घर को अभी एक टेनेंट को उसके घर में रखा है तो सब टेनेंट जो आके डायरेक्ट लैंडलॉर्ड को पैसा भर रहा है, अगर वो सब टेनेंट पैसा नहीं दे रहा है तो लैंडलॉर्ड का पूरा फर्ज बनता है, हक बनता है कि वो सब टेनेंट से पैसा ले सकता है करके. See exceptions, the stranger to the contract, acknowledgement. Now the fourth point is assignment of contract. Sometimes when the benefit under a contract has already been assigned, the assignee in such a case can enforce the contract. We will see the example. The assignee of insurance policy or the official assignee who is appointed or the insolvency of a person can sue on the contract even though originally they were no parties to it. यानी असाइनी जैसे लाइफ इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी होती है तो उसमें लाइफ इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी में जिसने पैसा भरा है वो इंसान है या नहीं, हु इज अपॉइंटेड और इंसॉल्वेंसी ऑफ ए पर्सन, तो दूसरा पर्सन आके उस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट को एनफोर्स कर सकता है ओरिजिनली इवन दो ओरिजिनली दे वर नो पार्टीज टू इट. अगर पार्टीज भी नहीं है तो दे कैन enforce the contract. So this is called assignment of the contract. Fifth is agreement creating a charge on immovable property. Where contract between P and Q is made for the benefit of a third party R and creates a charge on certain immovable property for the purpose, R can enforce such a contract though he is a stranger to the contract. So agreement creating a charge on immovable property. See, when there is a contract between two persons and if it is made for the benefit of the third person and creates a charge on certain immovable property for the purpose of R, so third person can enforce such a contract though he is a stranger to the contract. So sixth point is contracts made by the agent. So when there is a contract which are entered into by agent on behalf of the principal, अगर कोई कंपनी में एजेंट रहता है तो on behalf of the company अगर प्रिंसिपल वहाँ पे नहीं है तो एजेंट जो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट क्रिएट करता है, एंटर करता है, तो on behalf of the principal can enforce by the principal even though he is not a party to the contract. यहाँ पे but in this case the agent must have acted within the scope of his authority and in the name of his principal. तो कितनी सारी बिजनेस रहती है, बिजनेस फर्म रहते हैं, कितने सारी कंपनियां रहती है जो एजेंट कमीशन एजेंट होते हैं, तो अगर उसी फ्रेमवर्क में अगर वो काम करते हैं एंड एजेंट पिक्चर में नहीं है तो प्रिंसिपल एंड ही कैन एनफोर्स द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. So contract where which are entered into by an agent on behalf of the principal can be enforced by the principal. प्रिंसिपल एनफोर्स कर सकता है उस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट को contract को, even though he is not a party to the contract. But in this case the agent must have acted, यानी agent ऐसा काम करना चाहिए within the scope of his authority, जितना उसको दिया है लिमिटेशन स्कोप दिया है within that his scope of authority and in the name of his principal के नाम पे जो contract कुछ साइन किया है तो principal can enforce the contract. So we have completed the stranger to the contract exceptions. We have completed. So exceptions here, the stranger to the contract cannot sue, but there are certain exceptions, that is a trust, first है trust, family settlement है, acknowledgement है, assignment of contract, agreement creating a charge on immovable property, contracts made by agent. These are certain exceptions to the rule that a stranger can also can sue for the contract. And next we will see the consent and the free consent. What is consent and what is free consent? See, as per section 10 of the Contract Act, free consent of the parties to an agreement is one of the essential element of a valid contract. I have already told that what is an agreement. When in agreement two parties should be there to form a valid contract, and to form a valid contract the two parties consent, there should be a consent and consent should be free, यानी राजीनामा होना चाहिए. कंसेंट यानी राजीनामा. एंड राजीनामा कैसे होना चाहिए? फ्रीली होना चाहिए, उसमें कुछ दबाव या डराना धमकाना नहीं होना चाहिए. सो वी विल सी व्हाट इज द डेफिनेशन ऑफ कंसेंट. Two or more person are said to consent when they agree upon the same thing in a same sense. यानी दो से भी ज्यादा लोग होने चाहिए कंसेंट देने के लिए. When they agree upon the same thing and in the same sense, in the same thing, whatever the agreement is there, it should be same thing. यानी दोनों या दो से भी ज्यादा जो पार्टी है समझने में अलग भूल हो गई है तो वो वैलिड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट नहीं है. दोनों में सेम थिंग या सेम सेंस होना चाहिए कि भाई सेम जो बोल रहे हैं समझने की क्षमता सेम होनी चाहिए. इट मीन्स बोथ द पार्टी शुड हैव समथिंग इन द माइंड while forming a contract. This is called consens ad idem. Consens ad idem yani it means identity of mind or concurrence of mind. If there is no consent, there is no valid contract can be created. Now what is the definition of consent का मालूम हो गया. So consent यानी दोनों इंसान जो प्रॉपर दे रहे हैं consent यानी राजीनामा देना चाहिए. Consens ad idem, identity of the mind. Now we will see what is the definition of a free consent. Consent is said to be free when it is not caused by coercion, undue influence, fraud, misrepresentation or mistake. Consent को free कब कहा जाएगा? जब वो when it is not caused by. कंसेंट आपका फ्री होना चाहिए. अगर आपका कंसेंट फ्री नहीं है यानी डराना धमकाना झूठ बोल के फ्रॉड करके मिसरिप्रेजेंटेशन करके मिस्टेक करके अगर वो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट साइन हुआ है तो दैट इज नॉट ए वैलिड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. द कंसेंट शुड बी फ्री. Therefore, where consent of any party is obtained by any of the above elements, अगर कुछ above elements में अगर यानी mistake, fraud, undue influence, it is not free. If the consent is caused by coercion, undue influence, misrepresentation of fraud, the contract is voidable at the option of the party. यानी जो party contract में है वो avoid कर सकते हैं उस contract को whose consent was not free. However, if the consent is obtained by mistake of one party only, the contract will still be absolutely valid. यहाँ पे ये बोला गया है अगर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में एक पार्टी का मिस्टेक समझने में हुआ है फिर भी वो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट वैलिड कहा जाएगा. If the consent is caused by mistake of both the parties, अगर both the parties मिस्टेक हुआ है सोचने में समझने में, the agreement becomes void. तो agreement void हो जाता है. An agreement is void when it is not enforceable by law. अगर वो agreement ही void है तो it is not enforceable by law. Thus, coercion, undue influence, fraud, misrepresentation and mistake are the 5 laws which are responsible for vitiating or affecting the consent of the parties. पार्टीज अगर जो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में है, अगर उनका जो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है कोर्शन से हुआ है, अनइंड्यू इन्फ्लुएंस, फ्रॉड से, मिसरिप्रेजेंटेशन, मिस्टेक, ये 5 जो फ्लॉज है विच आर रेस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर अफेक्टिंग द कंसेंट ऑफ द पार्टीज, ये अफेक्ट करता है पार्टीज को. सो अब एक कोर्शन, अनड्यू इन्फ्लुएंस, ये इसका जो डिटेल एक्सप्लेनेशन है एक नेक्स्ट इसमें आएगा, नेक्स्ट प्रोविजन में आएगा. So we will tell if these 5 flaws of the consent are found in this party, then it is a void contract. वो contract आगे नहीं बढ़ सकता and it is not enforceable by law. So we will see what is coercion. According to section 15, अगर parties contract में जाते हैं तो how the person, if the person is obtaining the consent of the party by coercion, means to obtain consent by compelling a person to enter into a contract. अगर कोई पार्टी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में जाता है, अगर उसका कंसेंट, how the consent is been obtained by coercion means to obtain the consent by compelling a person to enter into a contract. Sorry, I'm really very sorry. We'll explain again. See, coercion according to section 15. To obtain consent of the party by coercion means to obtain consent by compelling a person to enter into a contract by the use of force. By use of force by the other party or under a threat. यानी कंपेल करना उस इंसान को कि भाई आप एंटर करो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट को फोर्सिबली, बाय द अदर पार्टी और अंडर ए थ्रेट, डराना, धमकाना, तो उसको बोलते हैं कोर्शन. अभी डेफिनेशन कोर्शन का क्या है अकॉर्डिंग टू सेक्शन 15? कोर्शन इज द कमिटिंग और थ्रेटनिंग टू कमिट एनी एक्ट फॉरबिडन बाय इंडियन पिनल कोड. यानी कमिटिंग और थ्रेटनिंग यानी डराना, धमकाना, कमिट एनी एक्ट विच इज फॉरबिडन बाय इंडियन पिनल कोड. इंडियन पिनल कोड की तरफ से वो फॉरबिडन है, वो जो घटना फॉरबिडन है. सेकेंड पॉइंट है द अनलॉफुल डिटेनिंग और थ्रेटनिंग टू डिटेन एनी प्रॉपर्टी टू द प्रिजुडाइज्ड ऑफ एनी पर्सन वॉट एवर. यानी अनलॉफुल से वो जो प्रॉपर्टी है आपकी, जो डिटेन करते हैं, रखते हैं, थ्रेटनिंग करके वो प्रॉपर्टी उसके पास रखते हैं, तो उसको भी कोर्शन कहा जाता है. विथ द इंटेंशन ऑफ कॉजिंग एनी पर्सन टू एंटर इनटू एनी अग्रीमेंट. उस इंटेंशन से अगर इंसान अग्रीमेंट एंटर कर सकता है तो उसको कोर्शन कहा जाता है. सो दिस डेफिनेशन कैन बी एनालाइज्ड विद द हेल्प ऑफ फॉलोइंग इंग्रेडिएंट्स. यानी जो 3 इंग्रेडिएंट्स यहाँ पे लिखा है टेक्स्ट बुक में, आप प्लीज ध्यान से पढ़ना. कोर्शन इज नथिंग बट committing any act, यानी you are committing any act which is forbidden by Indian Penal Code. यानी forbidden यानी it is prohibited by Indian Penal Code. यानी आप अग्रीमेंट करते हैं तो एकदम फ्री होना चाहिए कंसेंट, ना कि डराना, धमकाना, फोर्सिबली एंटर करना एक आगे वालों को इंसान करके भाई आप कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एंटर करो ही करो. सो एक ब्यूटीफुल केस है यहाँ पे, रंगनायकम्मा वर्सेस अलवर सेट्टी. सो यहाँ पे फैक्ट ऑफ द केस यहाँ पे एक है, ए जेंटलमैन फ्रॉम चेन्नई डाइड लिविंग ए यंग विडो ऑफ 13 years. यानी एक इंसान था जो चेन्नई में, उसकी वो ही डाइड, पीछे उसकी पत्नी 13 साल की थी. तो रिलेटिव्स ऑफ द डिसीज्ड हस्बैंड, यानी जो पति के जो रिलेटिव्स थे, threaten the widow to agree to adopt a particular boy, otherwise they would not allow her to remove the dead body of her husband for cremation. So उसको इतना डराया, धमकाया कि आप हमारे बच्चों को अडॉप्ट करो ही करो, अदरवाइज हम लोग आपके पति की डेड बॉडी को क्रीमेट यानी जलाएंगे नहीं. So widow adopted the boy and thereafter applied to the court for cancellation of the adoption. बाद में विडो ने क्या किया, कोर्ट में केस फाइल किया और बाद में कहा कि भाई मुझे कोर्शन किया था, यानी दिस पीपल थ्रेटन मी. तो अप्लाई किया कोर्ट पे फॉर कैंसिलेशन ऑफ अडॉप्शन. सो द कोर्ट ने क्या कहा, द कोर्ट हेल्ड द विडोज कंसेंट वॉज नॉट फ्री. यानी उसका जो कंसेंट था यानी जो राजीनामा था वो फ्री नहीं था, डराया था, धमकाया था, थ्रेटन किया था, एज इट वॉज obtained by coercion. Because any person who obstructed a dead body from being removed from cremation would be guilty of an offence under section 297 of IPC. So it was an offence also कि भाई हम लोग डेड बॉडी भी बाहर नहीं निकालने देंगे जब तक आप बच्चे को अडॉप्ट नहीं करेंगे. Thus the adoption was set aside. The adoption was set aside कि भाई अभी ये अडॉप्शन नहीं हो सकता. तो अभी एक केस है चिक्कम्मा, अपन देखते हैं. ये ब्यूटीफुल केस है चिक्कम अमीराजू वर्सेस चिक्कम सेशम्मा. यहाँ पे एक इंटरेस्टिंग केस है जो मद्रास हाई कोर्ट ने कहा. एक क्वेश्चन वेयर द क्वेश्चन बिफोर द कोर्ट वाज वेदर ए थ्रेट टू कमिट सुसाइड अमाउंट्स टू कोर्शन. जो इंसान डराता है कि भाई मैं सुसाइड कर लूंगा, डराना, तो वो कोर्शन अमाउंट होता है क्या. इन द केस ए पर्सन थ्रेटनिंग टू कमिट सुसाइड इंड्यूस्ड हिज वाइफ and son to execute a release deed in the favor of his brother regarding certain properties. यहाँ पे एक इंसान था जो अपने पति को थ्रेटन किया, पत्नी को और बच्चे को, कि आप रिलीज नहीं करते हो, रिलीज आप अपना डीड रिलीज नहीं करते हो इन फेवर ऑफ हिज ब्रदर रिगार्डिंग सर्टेन प्रॉपर्टीज. तो उन लोगों ने रिलीज किया तो बाद में कोर्ट में केस फाइल किया तो कोर्ट ने क्या कहा. द कोर्ट हेल्ड दैट दो ए थ्रेट टू कमिट सुसाइड वाज नॉट पनिशेबल अंडर आईपीसी. आप किसी को डराते हो कि मैं सुसाइड कर लूंगा, तो दैट इज नॉट पनिशेबल अंडर आईपीसी. इट मस्ट बी डीम टू बी फॉरबिडन बाय द आईपीसी. ये मतलब ये फॉरबिडन है एंड हेंस द रिलीज डेट वाज सेट असाइड. तो ए रिलीज डेट वाज सेट असाइड, वो असाइड पे रखा कि ये भाई इट इज ए कोर्शन, इट अमाउंट्स टू कोर्शन. सो अनलॉफुल डिटेनिंग ऑफ एनी प्रॉपर्टी और थ्रेटनिंग टू डिटेन unlawfully and thereby obtaining the consent for the agreement will amount to the consent caused with coercion. So it is a must. This line is must when you write for the coercion. This is very important line. Unlawful detaining of any property. आप रखते हो किसी की प्रॉपर्टी अनलॉफुली, और थ्रेटनिंग टू डिटेन, आप डरा के, धमका के, चिल्ला पुकार करके उसकी प्रॉपर्टी अनलॉफुली रखते हो, एंड देयर बाय ऑब्टेनिंग द कंसेंट, एंड उसके बाद आप उसका कंसेंट लेते हो यानी राजीनामा लेते हो अग्रीमेंट के लिए, तो दैट इज ए कोर्शन एंड एन अग्रीमेंट विच सच कंसेंट वुड therefore become void. It is a void agreement. This is very, very important line. So you have to write this important line. So now what are the effect of the coercion? The contract is voidable. अगर coercion से agreement होता है तो उसका effect क्या होता है? The contract is voidable at the option of the party whose consent was not free. The contract हुआ है तो parties के ऊपर है तो वो avoid कर सकते हैं उस contract को. तो जिसने अग्री किया था कि भाई डरा धमका के उसने हामी भरा है, तो that person has given the full right that he can avoid the contract. The person to whom money has been paid or anything delivered under coercion must repay or return it. अगर आपने कुछ उसमें फायदा लिया है, the person to whom money has been paid or anything delivered under coercion, अगर coercion में आपने किसी को पैसा दिया है या लिया है तो इट मस्ट बी रीपेड और रिटर्न इट. उसमें आपको रीपे करना है, रिटर्न करना है, कुछ भी एडवांटेज लिया है तो. सो दिस इज कोर्शन. सो वी हैव डिस्कस्ड द टू केसेस. वन इज अबाउट द अडॉप्शन. देयर वाज अ थ्रेट फॉर अडॉप्टिंग ए बॉय फॉर ए विडो, एंड सेकेंड इज चिक्कमन अमीराजू. यहाँ पे जो हस्बैंड अपनी वाइफ को और बच्चे को थ्रेटन करता है तो यू हैव टू रिलीज द property deed in favor of his brother. So this is a coercion. The example has been given the coercion, and the effect of the coercion is it is avoidable at the option of the parties. Now what is undue influence? What do you mean by undue influence? So the definition is given: a contract is said to be induced by undue influence when the relations subsisting between the parties are such that one of the parties is in a position to dominate the will of other. Now, who are the parties? Who are the parties who are in the position to dominate the will of others? If one of the parties is very strong and other party is inferior and superior, बोल सकते हैं यहाँ पे. So one of the parties is in a position and he is dominating the other. Now we will see who is the party who is dominating the other. When a dominant person uses his position to obtain the consent of his subordinate, यहाँ पे जो dominating party है वो subordinate है, and thereby takes undue advantage of higher position, we can say that undue influence is caused. So, Section 16 subclause 2 of the Act says that a person is deemed to be in a position to dominate the will of other. Now, who is the person who is dominating the position of the other? When he holds real or apparent authority over the other. See, now beautiful example has been given. What is the who is the dominating party? The relation between the master and servant, police officer and accused. So they are dominating the other party. So it may be undue influence. Now second point is where he stands in a fiduciary relations to the other. Fiduciary relation means a relation between mutual trust and confidence, yani father and son, advocate and client, doctor and patient, teacher and student, guru and shishya, trustee and beneficiary. So where he holds a real or apparent authority first, where he stands in fiduciary relationships, and third point is where he makes a contract with a person whose mental capacity is temporarily or permanently affected by the reason of age, illness, or mental or bodily distress, like an old illiterate person or a bedridden patient. So, these are the persons who are subordinates who can dominate the other party. If his position is higher, he can dominate. So, 3 points have been given. See if there is where he holds a real or apparent authority, where he stands in a fiduciary relationships, where he makes a contract with a person whose mental capacity is temporarily or permanently affected, और या तो mental distress level है, old है, तो undue influence होने का chances है. See following instance, यहाँ पे एक following instance है, would serve to explain the point. An 85-year-old weak and sick man is looked after by his attendant. जो 85-year-old है, जो sick man है, उसको देखभाल करने के लिए एक attendant है, and in later transpired and in later वो गुजर गया that the said old man had made a gift in the favor of his attendant. तो उसने क्या किया, तो उसके पास जो गिफ्ट डीड था किसके ऊपर लिखा था, अटेंडेंट के ऊपर, यानी जो देखभाल करने वाला था उसके ऊपर उसने गिफ्ट डीड लिखा था. इन द इंस्टेंट केस, इस जो केस में है, वन कैनॉट एंटायरली रूल आउट द पॉसिबिलिटी दैट अटेंडेंट इन क्वेश्चन माइट नॉट हैव यूज्ड अनड्यू इन्फ्लुएंस for obtaining such consent, since the said old man, due to his vulnerable condition, could easily be influenced into doing so. So यहाँ पे in instant case one cannot entirely rule out the possibility of that the attendant in question might not have used undue influence. तो यहाँ पे एक क्वेश्चन आता है कि अटेंडेंट के ऊपर एक गिफ्ट डीड उसके फेवर में किया है, तो शायद ये भी हो सकता है कि अनड्यू इन्फ्लुएंस का सहारा लिया गया हो. So, such condition is vulnerable condition, could easily be influenced in doing so. So, for the purpose of, next we will see here. See, for the purpose of proving the use of undue influence, two elements must be proved. Namely, the other party was in a position to dominate his will. So, two purpose यहाँ पे आपको prove करना है कि आपके साथ undue influence हुआ है. The other party was in a position to dominate his will. The transaction was an unfair one. तो ये जो two elements है, तो ये है, तो फिर it is been proved that there was an undue influence. It is the duty of the dominant person In such cases, to prove that the consent given by the other person यानी subordinate person was free consent and that the contract was not induced by undue influence, यहाँ पे जो dominant person है उसको बोलना चाहिए कि भाई मेरे साथ ऐसा कुछ वाक्य नहीं हुआ है, तो मैंने जो कंसेंट दिया है वो फ्री कंसेंट है, तो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट वो वैलिड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कहा जाएगा एंड इट वाज नॉट इंड्यूस्ड बाय अनड्यू इन्फ्लुएंस. तो dominant person has to tell it. If these two elements are not proved, the dominant person has to tell that the consent was free. Now what are the presumption of undue influence? Presumption क्या कर सकते हैं? It is presumed that undue influence is there in the circumstances referred to above in subclause A, B, C. In other words, it is presumed that in the relationship like master and servant, doctor and patient, etc., possibility of undue influence exists. So it is been presumed that relationship master का, servant का, doctor patient का, so there is a possibility of undue influence. No presumption. अभी आप बोलेंगे कि मेरे साथ अनड्यू इन्फ्लुएंस हुआ है, सो प्रिजम्पशन कहाँ पे हो सकता है? तो द रिलेशनशिप मतलब सबॉर्डिनेट के साथ होता है. अगर लैंडलॉर्ड और टेनेंट के ऊपर आप बोलेंगे कि भाई मुझे अनड्यू इन्फ्लुएंस हुआ है, सो द रिलेशनशिप इज नॉट लाइक दैट. इट कैन नॉट बी प्रिज्यूम्ड दैट देयर इज अ अनड्यू इन्फ्लुएंस. For example, no presumption. Landlord and tenant, credit and debtor, mother and daughter, grandfather and grandson. In such relations, the existence of undue influence will have to be proved by the party who alleges it. अगर कोई पार्टी बोलता है कि मेरे साथ undue influence हुआ है, so he has to prove, the party who is telling, who is alleging, who is giving these allegations कि मेरे साथ undue influence हुआ है. So there is no presumption. Presumption is between the servant and doctor, patient, so guru, shishya, teacher, student. So see certain examples are there. These people are having higher authority and subordinates also. So there can be a presumption that the undue influence has been caused. But in such circumstances, there may not be a presumption in the case of the landlord and tenant. See, what are the effects of undue influence? Effect क्या हो सकता है undue influence का? An agreement is voidable at the option of the party. The agreement किसी के साथ undue influence हुआ है तो the agreement can be voidable. You can avoid that agreement whose consent was thus obtained. Any such contract may be set aside. That contract can be set aside either absolutely or if the party who was entitled to avoid it has received any benefit, if the party has received any benefit thereto upon such terms and conditions as the court may just deem. This means any benefit received by the aggrieved party. The party whose consent was not free has to be restored according to the order of the court. अगर कुछ पार्टी ने बेनिफिट लिया है इसमें, the person whose consent was not free, even if he has received any benefit, it should be restored, it should be returned back. Now here Pardanishi woman, there has been given an example of Pardanishi woman also. Who is a Pardanishi woman? Is one who has observed the customs of Parda, that is who lives in a complete seclusion from the outside world, yani completely she is not even to see what is the world going on accordingly except of her own family. She does not have much communication with outside world. Law provides special protection to Pardanashin women on the ground of their being ignorant about worldly knowledge. A contract with the Pardanashin woman is presumed to have been induced by undue influence. A contract with the Pardanashin woman is presumed, it is being presumed that contract is induced by undue influence. Therefore, a Pardanashin woman is not bound by a contract unless the other party can show that it was her intelligent and voluntary act. तो other party को दिखाना पड़ेगा, उसको prove करना पड़ेगा that it was not an undue influence, it was her own intelligence and voluntary act. However, a woman who appears in the court, gives evidence, settles rent, etc. cannot be called Pardanashin woman. See, a woman who appears in the court, gives the evidence, settles rents, cannot be called a Pardanashin woman, because the basic concept is to give protection to the woman who is totally secluded from social interaction. So who has been given protection? Who has been totally secluded from the social interaction. Once it is shown that a contract was with a Pardanashin woman, it is the duty of other party to show that no undue influence was used. सो अदर पार्टी को दिखाना पड़ेगा पर्दानशीन के वुमेन के ऊपर हम लोगों ने कुछ undue influence नहीं किया है. So therefore Indian courts have held that contract made by or with a Pardanashin woman may be set aside by her unless the other party to the contract proves in the court of law that the terms and conditions of the contract were fully explained to her and that she understood their consequences on her interest. So the other person has to prove that Pardanashin woman, that all the contracts, whatever the conditions, terms and conditions were totally explained. So the other party has to prove in the case of the contract with the Pardanashin woman. See, we will see what is the difference between the coercion and undue influence. So we will see in the next video what is the difference between the coercion and undue influence.